Hi, how are you guys? So, I want to talk about something that some of you have asked about, and this could be information to help some of you that are under the Pluto Scorpio generation. I will tell you the years. Give me 1 second. So, 1983 to 1995. So if you were born 83 to 95, you would be considered the Scorpio generation. So let's talk about it. Scorpio generation, it's time of decay, collapse, institutional corruption, society change. Members and individuals are made up of pretty strong stuff and are up to the task, but the pathway may involve some kind of humbling loss of power, confrontation with death itself. A lot of individuals brought up during this generation, kind of has seen a lot at a very young age. Pluto rules the underworld, right? It's the god of the underworld, which makes the combination more lethal. There's a regenerator and transformation in the sign of Libra, because before Pluto generation, so our parents, they would be Libra. So Pluto was in Libra at that time. A lot of these individuals deal with abandonment and betrayal. We're labeled as millennials, okay? And the Phoenix rising. It's like Generation X, okay? A lot of this generation has been prematurely judged, falsely identified as overly coddled brats, right? Reluctant to set out on their own, opting instead of to remain comfortable. Overprotective parents, hiding, but there's a lot of depth to these people. Dealing with a lot of power struggle also. Could have had a lot of problems with authority growing up. A lot of these people have no fear. I want to see something. Give me 1 second, guys. A lot of the generation is revolutionists and healers, spiritual healers. You'll find the wise ones, defiant ones, mystics, seers of the unseen, and mystical. Whether all of them are aware of it or not, the generations that came before the Pluto and Scorpios, they don't understand their passion. They don't understand why burning old structures to the ground. These individuals are not here to do things the old way. Basically, we're here to heal the trauma of the collective. It's a lot of individuals have the sensitivity and passion. It's this force of nature. Different than Pluto and Sagittarius and Libra. A lot of these people are becoming the change they want to see in the world. Okay. Breaking generational curses, acknowledging all that is unseen, and bringing light to the collective shadow. It is their power. It is their medicine. It is their gifts. Many were introduced to the wisdom of the skeleton woman, the understanding of loss and new life at an early age. This generation was the first to experience the impact of divorce and abandonment as a collective. Many of these people carry this wound because of fear of abandonment is one of the foundational traumas, and you're here to overcome it. Some of you had dads that were absent or buried in their work, moms who resented the husbands for being absent, definitely a lot of abuse, confronted with harsh realities in life, and were too young to fully comprehend the meaning of death. For some, they've been exposed to death, sexual violence, and suicide from childhood. There's a deep psychology wound surrounding trusting themselves and others, stemming from earlier experiences with betrayal. There's a lot of power and control that they've had constantly throughout their life, a keen eye for manipulation. Unlike older generations, these people can see through bullshit that is fed to you by the media, religion. They could have been labeled as bad students, defiant children, intolerable employees, not because they're awful, but because they refuse to play the game. These people do not play the game. They won't play the game. They find sovereignty within, but it's kind of like if you ask any of this generation, do they see life getting better? A lot of them are going to tell you no. Because they're not here to live in an illusion. They see the world for what it is. Now, people that were born with Pluto that was stationed direct, they have full access to the alchemy and passionate powers of Pluto. They are unafraid of the establishment and actively question the powers that be. They have an understanding of right versus wrong and are willing to throw themselves into the line of fire. They're very passionate. So if your Pluto was direct, you should check your birth chart. Retrograde is different. These individuals have an intuitive understanding of what is hidden in the use of their power to create what they want to create. These could be activists, politicians, social workers, advocates. Their voices are powerful and their anger is sacred. They are not here to be quiet. They are here to make their presence known. They will change the way people approach structures, and from government to family. Now, if Pluto was retrograde, this is the healer. They're mostly on a mission to reclaim their personal power. They don't access the sacred anger, passion of Pluto in the same way as the first group. They've more had early childhood experiences that dampen this fire within. Their journey is one of reclamation and finding their voice. Often these people you'll find them working behind the scenes, but make no mistake, their goal is the same as the revolutionists. They love to put their personal power to use in changing the systems. The healers love to make sense of trauma and help people heal from the wounds of their past. These are trauma therapists, writers, artists, spiritual healers. They're here to go inward and sit with the depth of the emotion in order to help the collective walk through trauma, death, and sorrow. They work. These individuals work on the spiritual plane as healers and often carry the pain of past lives, so they can see right into your energy and understand what trauma you went through in a past life. In a past life, the ones that are retrograde, they've been exiled or harmed for their psychic or spiritual abilities. Selena Gomez was born with this in her chart, but these individuals might have trauma from being harmed in a past life for their gifts. So something in a past life happened, they were harmed, killed for it, something like that, and so they might carry that trauma, and that's why they're it can come up as certain energies. So Saturn is in an Aquarius. We just got into Aquarius, I believe, or it's Pluto. Yeah, one of them are. I believe it's Saturn. A lot you're gonna see happening is, and it's been happening the past few years, is the old is decaying and it's being stripped from these people's lives. So especially if you were born in this generation, you're gonna see a lot being stripped from your life. And like I said, it's been happening, right, for the past few years. It is, though, a powerful time for trauma therapy, reconnecting with spirit, following anything that is intriguing for these people. Any pain or disempowerment surrounding sex, sexuality can be transmuted. Needing to be very mindful of self-care and emotional well-being. Past 2 years and moving forward, depending on where you're at. So basically, okay, so Pluto and Libra was the gang generation. So this is October, like 1971 to 1983, right? Dramatic Pluto moved in the sign of Libra, which is partnerships. Pluto is death, right? The 7th house is connected to Libras. So this is open enemies, partners, day-to-day people entering your life. And this created a form of regular open death manifestation as shown by the infamous daily drive-bys, all that stuff, right? You can see that shit in movies, whatever. It's in pozos, the scales. So the scales over the head. Bullied. Because Pluto, these people that were born with Libra and Pluto, they have ferocious souls. They must give into their high sense of justice. So they have a very high sense of justice. And if it's unbalanced, they can be very aggressive. If not for survival or money, then respect, power, and justice belong to this group, no matter what. They went through rough initiations. Love, hate, submission, participation. Wow, I'm like participation. See, now I can't say it. Participation. There we go. And respect is definitely fine with Libra. Found in Libra. There's these people, many children. They've had perfect upbringings, and many are from middle and upper class families. Their early environment plays an important part on how their souls will react to others. If the upbringing happens to be rough and difficult, then many will become the bully. Negative regeneration principle taking place because those born, they have a strong inner sense, like I said, to justice. And they're gonna see it as owed to the group for good or bad, right? They do not have fear either. This generation forced the government to take drastic measures, especially when I read about it, it was like 1998. They've had a lot of strong effects with that. So with Pluto and Scorpio. This is, they call it the death wish generation also. Um, those very young and wild children have already made dramatic news by executing each other. Um, and it's funny because I always hear that, like, just even when I was growing up, and like a lot the past few years, like, just die already. And then I'm like, oh, Pluto, Scorpio shit, right? But if you say that to somebody that's not Pluto has their Pluto and Scorpio, they might be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Um, so there could be descendants of debt, debt to pay. Um, a lot of secrets about family stuff has been crawling out unconsciously. So it's like a lot of these births were kept secret. Pluto and Scorpios told adults the truth, the sort of truth adults kept secret or never wanted to believe as being possible. And I can say that's one thing that happened with me when I started talking about certain things, even in my family, friends, and other people. They're like, oh, no, we don't talk about that stuff. And I'm like, well, hey, so serious. And I know a lot of other people that have Pluto and Scorpio have dealt with this. The truths that could break family cycles and perish, but they weren't really ready. Disbelief still haunts many today. So a lot of us, you could have been you probably said a lot when you were younger and you would get in trouble for it. Even being 5 years old, 6, it goes back to trauma with that, like you talking out of order. There was a lot of ritual abuses also when these children were kids. But there's a lot of ancient evils that have been uncovered, and they will be exposed, cleansed, and redeemed during this time for those that were born with Pluto and Scorpio. What else? So those incarnated with this group they'll be called witches, exorcists, deep sea mermaids, ancient healers, sorcerers, spirit midwives, occult magicians, banishers of generational curses, midwives. Let's see what else. Pluto's energy is extremely potent and powerful, though, so it's kind of how you use it. A lot of these individuals have had a lot of trouble with their outspokenness. And there's a lot of ties that bind these individuals, they feel. I want to see something. Let's see. I can tell you a lot of these individuals already had They've already been awakened. A lot of them are. There's just this, like, I've always heard, like, a deep sadness in their eyes, or in their, um, okay, wait. This is not what I want on here. Okay, there we go. So, these souls will naturally desire to investigate and explore areas of life that go outside of boundaries. Evolution within the state occurs as a soul becomes internally secure within expressing and actualizing the unique individuality. These souls will voice the right for freedom and independence in order that as individual process can occur and will naturally grant others the same right. These individuals can act as a source of emotional support for others who are also desiring to liberate themselves from society. This Pluto and Scorpio in this state will manifest as individuals who will rebel against the needs to conform to existing society and confront those who attempt to enforce such conformity. Self-empowerment will occur through embracing a variety of alternative psychology knowledge that promotes the awareness of the unique psychology makeup of each individual and allows individual expression. These souls will have the ability to psychology penetrate others in this context and can help others grow past current psychology limitations that are creating blocks towards further growth. You will see a lot of these individuals committed to spiritual development as they start understanding themselves more, because it could be either very, very out of control with them, not listening to anybody and going down that path, or when they get into their growth, their spirituality, to transmute any destructive behavioral patterns, that's when they evolve. Nope. Sorry guys, bear with me. Okay, so a lot of the regenerating, a lot of what I'm reading too is what I wrote down. I have all these so I'm just trying to find the other pages. Okay. So yeah, altering experiences in war, economic devastation, homelessness, debt, sexual degradation, merging, corruption. Healers that hone in the root causes of disease, healing the mind body split further with soul retrieval, and souling practices in the powerful of soulful presence. This generation will make medical breakthroughs, find cures, and even new life through artificial means. And I believe this has already started. This generation can be quite off-putting to many older adults. It is because Pluto and Scorpio, it's square to Pluto and Libra. Not Libra, Leo. So those were born approximately 1939 to 1958. So they're square to those. Means that the baby boomers, a huge... they find this generation troublesome and difficult. They're very sensitive to their environment. They're emotionally intense and are intrigued by mystery. So these people love mystery. They love the darkness because they understand it. They will sweep away anything that stands in their way. When you talk to somebody that has this in their chart, you can feel their intenseness compared to, let's just say they have something else in their Pluto. I would say, like, the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph with these people. Can you turn that down? So any ideas about privacy and information? Many of the brave souls who came forward as adults and revealed the abuses of the Catholic Church were Pluto and Scorpio people. A lot of these individuals would be called indigo children. Strong self-esteem, mostly non-conformist, having a high spiritual intelligence. They're very intelligent. They have psychic abilities, and they're described as a warrior spirit. Some challenges they face are feeling like they don't belong, anger, and resistance to authority. The lessons never come easy for these people. They could destroy their whole life in one day, and it's quite challenging. From 18 to 29, some of them, they are patient, but, the system is broken. A lot of these people will tell you about the system, and to push that away, I feel those that do push it away later realize they were speaking what's to come. A lot of the Pluto and Scorpios today are still pretty young, so it is not known what their total impact on the world will be. Because the last time Pluto was in Scorpio was 1735 and 47. So in that generation, that was the French Revolution, right? The American Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, and the Age of Enlightenment, NBD. Um, so that's a lot of what, that's the last time it was in there. So I would say 28 to 35. You would just say the loss of innocence. They feel love is lethal, love is a crime, fatal, murderous, destroys, it kills you. That's how they view love. Um, if these individuals had any words for you, their words would be contrasting that as the power that is running the system. An evil woman with lust and desire to inflict terror upon society, she rules. The powerful ending is the transformation and healing of evil leaders into a woman of love. Powerful messages and images of Pluto and Scorpio. Society faced some critical issues during certain times. There was a lot of sexual abuse, abuse of power, codependency, domestic violence, particularly death, were brought to the conscious awareness. It was uncomfortable. The issue of dying from sexually transmitted disease. How could someone we love so much kill us? It seems it's the core of a Pluto and Scorpio. It is the core. It seems that they were faced with a lot of issues of love dying, or that love dies, or that we could die from love. These individuals have tried to look for God in the eyes of somebody they loved. Illusions was stripped to the core. Finding out that taking for granted wasn't free at all. Brutal time. A lot of these people had parents with Neptune and Scorpio. The parents idolized and took for granted. It's a burden that they are dealing with. So the burden is the loss of innocence. Because their parents had a highly romantic version of relationships in some form. And then Neptune, so the Neptune did its job of dissolving. Now Pluto came in, our generation, and it's doing the final reality check. So these new children are not like this. So their souls have incarnated with completely new agenda. Their concerns are not intimate one-on-one partnerships, but at the world at large. There is a social agenda and consciousness with these children. They are acutely aware of life's heaviest problems, and if you ask many of them if they have hope for the future, they would tell you probably not, and I said that in the beginning. There's no illusions for them. Life is hard, staying alive is hard. They are less inclined to idealize. The souls of these children seem to be inflicted with angst. They seem to know death up close and personal. Their issues are raw. Their pain is deep. They feel for the entire human race and its evolution. They seemingly are very prophetic in nature. These children's eyes are deep and very sad. In some cases, even blank and some deadness. Some have shut themselves off from deep emotions, quite withdrawn and deeply introspective. These children were born old souls and wise from early on, with heavy burdens on their collective shoulders. They were born, and in their next breath, they were adults. If one could imagine, these children know instinctively what most of the rest of us now understand about the human race, to know the darker side of the human behavior, having a fantasy and sense about life. This would be hard for anyone to handle, but these children were knowing these issues in their souls. They would be battling with a collective sense of futility, potentially very pessimistic. They know what is real. You cannot lie to them or gloss the truth, since they already know where the truth is. And that's why a lot of, when they were younger, depending on what family they were born into, they dealt with rituals put on them. They could have, if they were too awake, they would be put to sleep because they knew too much. They're clearly advanced, but sometimes their bodies and emotions aren't quite ready to receive the message from Pluto, because there is an immense power and energy that they will have and are receiving collectively when it is time. Some are already tuning in, others are acting out process and manifesting the darker nature of Pluto in a destructive manner. So the issues their parents had to deal with, sexual revolution, probably desensitized these children to sexual intimacy. They could have been exposed to a lot of sexual energy in their early years, since the sexual boundaries of their parents were quite loose. Okay? These children have access to anything sexual, and they are naturally curious, since sexuality will be the key component of their collective identity. They're reaching puberty very young. A lot of these kids have been sexually active from early on in life. A lot of these children, you will see, have had kids at a young age. There is no fear of death to them or dying. These kids have already done it on an existence level. It is shocking. Like, if you don't have Pluto and Scorpio, it would be shocking to you to hear something like this, I feel. But it's not to them. These children know that the death is part of life, of existence itself. The pain isn't about dying. It is staying alive that is the hardest for these kids. Now, the generation, like the ones I'm talking to, the Pluto and Scorpios, you guys will probably be 18, the youngest, to 35. The next generation, so our kids, will be Pluto and Capricorn. But, so basically, the Pluto and Scorpio will ultimately be responsible for either the complete destruction of humankind or its complete regeneration. And that's what we're going through right now. So it just goes back to the beginning. These people have dealt with a core level, life's most taboo issues. They will be giving deep messages. There'll be many choices facing this generation. Since they know life's deepest issues, the most intimate of ways, they collectively will have the power to transform and heal those issues that we're all wrestling with. It will be up to each individual soul to choose to go to the high or low road, to choose light over dark. They will be bearing the burden of man's inhumanity itself and will help heal this planet or destroy it. So it's either going to be healed or this generation will destroy it. It's one or the other. At this time in their lives, one would hope we can assist with necessarily healing so that they can complete our mission. So basically, these individuals' mission is to either heal the planet, which there are a lot of people that have been stepping up to this, or destroy it. So choose light or dark, right? The importance of giving these children the most love we can be understated. Love seems to be a key issue that is missing. There is a noticeable shift in the consciousness of these children if they are accepted and loved for who they are, as all of us would be. They need to be encouraged to share what they know, because it is what they know deep inside that has the potential to save the world we live in. Love doesn't have to kill or destroy. It can be transformed, this powerful generation of people. So yeah, like, basically there is an opportunity to transform, and I do see a lot of this generation wanting to, but I can tell you from my personal experience, for me having Pluto and Scorpio, I've been working with the collective for the past 3 years on this, and all I've been getting is this. So it's a lot of these individuals probably could relate. We've opened up to the healing, and it's like other entities, even the older generation, from the older to the younger, want to come against us, and they want to make it harder. And it goes very deep, and it goes very dark for us. And I've seen people trying to step up and getting threatened, shit happening. I know other spiritual readers in the community that shit has happened to. So it's kind of like, okay, we're content, right? So why is this happening? You get me? Because at the end of the day, they're trying to make it hard. When we've done a lot of collective shifting, and I do feel that's another reason why COVID is going so long, because COVID is way beyond this, right? It's more of the lack of assistance. Obviously, there's opposition, right? There's light and dark. Everybody that has things have already split. So what I mean by this is people have already chosen their path, light or dark. And obviously dark's going to want to come against light. But I do know there are some people that have chose dark that don't mess with the light for a reason that the light's not messing with them, right? There's a mutual understanding, like, I'm not going to cross, you know? But then there is the dark really attacking the light. And that's what's been happening, especially for me. And I know a few other people too. So with that, that's pretty much the Scorpio generation. I mean, I've heard it my whole life. Like, I don't understand, everything that I just said, it makes complete sense. You will find these individuals, very old souls. Like, when I would say 4 or 5, I knew I've been here before. I knew what, it's kind of like you'd be surprised because your parents or even your grandparents could be younger than you in soul. So I even sometimes, like, people that are older than me, I can tell that their soul is like a baby. Like, this is their first time being on earth. So, like, that's why they don't understand certain things. But then there's some older people that that their soul's older than yours. So that's why I always go off the heart. Or the soul. I don't really go off of faces, I just don't. Because sometimes, like, even your kids could be older than you, right? Or they could be younger. It could be their first, third time reincarnating, last time. You'll know if you know. If you don't, you don't. But that's another thing. So it's being patient with that too, especially if you're dealing with younger souls, but they're older and they don't understand. Sometimes they really don't understand what you're talking about, because I know there's a lot of frustration with that. Especially, I've heard that a lot, and people have asked me, like, I'm trying to tell people what's going on, that they're not ready to hear. Sometimes their soul's not ready for that evolution yet. They still have many lifetimes to come back here and do it, So it is what it is. But I'm gonna pull some of these, and then I think I've pretty much covered everything with Pluto and Scorpio, and then a little bit of Pluto and Libra. Okay, so I want to pull for Work Your Light for the Plutos and Scorpios. Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher, Koshik. Keepers of the Earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Okay. So if you are a teacher, a mystic, a priestess, you could be on a journey where you're by yourself a lot. You feel very alone. You're really not alone. You do have ancestors with you, whether they are embodied or not. And some of you feel their presence. I feel for some of you, you have access to Akashic records. Keepers of the earth, let me see. Occupation, sudden, Akashic, child, yeah. Okay, so some of you, this is written in your Akashic records since you were a child. There's something written, but it was blocked from you for a reason. False person concern. Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you right now have concerns for, you see the masks here, so something with this generation was activated when COVID started. What is this? The age of light, the ever unfolding road. Yeah. I said road, the ever unfolding road. Yeah. The fucking road unfolded, alright. Protection, call back your power, cut the cord, soul retrieval. Something was retrieved on a soul level when COVID started. It activated. For some of you, that's when you were cracked open to certain things. And this brought concern, right? Some of you are divinely guided. You are guided by keepers of the earth, ancient ancestors. That's kind of, let me see. Can you give me one more for this one, please? Adjudication. Yeah. Some of you, there's something you were like held down by as a child. It goes back to trauma. You could have been judged a lot as a child. Adjudication. Yeah, so you I feel for whoever this energy is, you were the ancient one in your family, and you're the one who, you had this knowledge with, this could be your parents' marriage or just marriages, and you knew with the Akashic here, you knew what was going on. You're the one who gave a judgment. Yeah. But, that there was concern with that at that time. But there's something that, with this Akashic, there's something that wants to, there's something in the Akashic records for you. I'm here, yeah, there's some sort of, yeah, something's being retrieved that you guys need to know. So I would meditate on it or ask your guides, your ancestors, God, the universe to help you with that process. Because it's something important for this generation to know. Alright. Let's get one of these and then I'm going to close this. I'm gonna do a Pluto and Capricorn next. I haven't wrote much about it. I haven't channeled a lot about the Plutos and Capricorns, but what I can tell you, because my child is the Pluto and Capricorn. Whew. They definitely that generation very advanced. We advanced in a different way. Their generation are not gonna like restrictions, because what? Scorpio is in Pluto. Capricorn is the devil, right? Yeah. And then Scorpio is death. So yeah. They're not gonna like restrictions, but I feel some of these souls have restrictions for a reason. I feel some of them have lessons, just as we did, but I feel their lessons are gonna come quicker because they are advanced. They're crystal children, so they amplify the energy. So I am getting with even the girls and the boys. I feel like at our age, when we were like 13, 14, and like, started hanging out with boys and stuff like that, nah. This generation, karma's gonna hit them way too quick because they're advanced. They're not gonna be able to get away with what we got away with. Put it that way, and that's a good thing. But because they're already starting young, a lot of these kids are talking about stuff like that at way younger than we did. But it backfires for them quickly due to the restrictive energy with Capricorn there. Okay, so let's see. Pluto and Scorpio. Certainty and patience. Yeah, you guys gotta be patient. You guys are... We have the illumination. This could be something with the Illuminati. I don't fucking know. Illuminati. Candle, illumination. You guys have foresight into things. But I'm getting there's something with the brain here. So certainty. There's some sort of knowledge that you were already born with that was it was stored in your memory or stored somewhere, like the downloads you get, but you were programmed. So there's something that there was like, I'm hearing like tissue or like something over the brain to just stored it, I'm hearing. I don't know, something. You need to be patient. Even if you're certain about certain things or you're certain about something, you can see foresight into things, or if you want to act on certain things, you need to be patient with your own generation, with humanity itself, with your process. Is what I'm getting off those. But I'm also getting, if you guys are certain about something, be patient with the process. Like if it's something positive you want to do, just be patient with yourself, or be patient with it, because it will come to fruition. I'm also getting numbers. Geomancy is something that you guys could be very good at. All right, Pluto's in Scorpio. Cauldron, synergy and healing. And then the black cats, fortune meets opportunity. The underworld, yeah. So what I'm getting is a lot of the time with Pluto's in Scorpio, you see this underworld and then the zombie control, and then it's time. You guys come up from above this, and then boom, something's trying to grab your leg and pull you back to something. What you need to tell this arm is you need to fucking kick it and be like, no, I'm not fucking doing that shit. And go towards what it's time for you to do. Because I do feel this energy wants to pull you back to the underworld sometimes. And you're trying to rise above that. Because you guys can go very, very deep. And it could be very deep that it's hard to sometimes get out of. So you need to release. Sometimes you need to release the control, right? And healing will bring you guys fortune and opportunities. You need to heal it. The healing is required with a lot of you due to everything we just talked about. But I'm getting also you guys have the control of the underworlds also. And then we have time here, so that reminds me of Capricorn. There's going to be a lot of pause and begins again due to control. If you cannot control something, that's when you doing your studies are good. Healing, bringing in synergy, positive synergy, because sometimes it can bring you to a point where it'll be hard to come back from. You guys will understand what I mean from that. So, focusing on the healing, focusing on patience, and acceptance and equality is going to be beneficial. Okay, last one. I'm just going to give you advice. Dreams incubation. Wow, it's almost an hour. Jeez. Okay. So loved ones connect with you guys through your dreams. Finding solutions to your questions and evolve spiritually by practicing dream incubation. So before going to sleep, plant a mental intention that you will dream about a specific topic. Yeah. So you guys could get images, stories, visitations from deceased loved ones and from your guides. And if you're wanting to enhance that, your advice is to. A lot of you your advice is to, if you've been working on healing, right, you do it a lot through your dream time. And it can help you change certain things around. So incubation, what do you want to incubate? What are you dreaming about? And I know sometimes you could say like, whoa, a dream. I woke up from a dream to a nightmare, right? But conjunct that with still keep visualizing what you want. All right? I'm going to go because I have to do some things. And I hope this helped you guys. And for those that have patiently actually waited for this one, I appreciate you. And I will talk to you guys later. Take care.